guys, so I'm back for another book haul. Like I mentioned in my last book haul, which I blamed entirely on Lena and Jen, I got a lot of books this month and I decided to divide the book hauls into two just to make it more consumable. And these are the rest of the books I received this month, which are still quite a lot, so maybe get a cup of tea. I bought some of them myself and received some of them from publishers, and I'll let you know as I go through which I bought and which I didn't. But I'm really excited for all of these books. Some in particular are particularly exciting and I cannot wait to show them to you, so I hope you enjoy this video. Let's start with the book that came in the post this morning, which I am so excited about. And it is Terry Pratchett's The Shepherd's Crown, a Discworld novel. This is Terry Pratchett's final Discworld novel. Obviously you will probably know that Terry Pratchett passed away not long ago, and this book has obviously been published posthumously, so there will be no more Discworld after this, which is obviously incredibly sad. But I'm so excited for this book. It is the final not only in the Discworld books but in the Tiffany Aching series, which is a sub-series in the Discworld series, and it was the Tiffany Aching series, which begins with the We Free Men, that originally got me in to Terry Pratchett and his Discworld. So this series has a very special place in my heart and I'm so excited to read the final one. And I did get sent this by the publishers. I wasn't expecting it actually. I was going to buy it myself. But this turned up today on the release date and I was so excited. But I did get another book in the post this morning, which was slightly overshadowed by this, but I am actually quite excited for this one as well. And this one is also from Penguin. This one's the Penguin Book of British Short Stories. This is an advanced reader's sample, so I don't know what the final copy will look like, but this is a small selection of stories from volumes 1 and 2, so I imagine it's going to be a lot bigger and a lot more stories, and there's going to be 2 of them, but this is just a kind of sampler, which is quite interesting. And there's some really exciting authors in here. You've got Rudyard Kipling, H.G. Wells, T.H. White, Elizabeth Taylor, Wilkie Collins. It's a lovely little book, so I'm excited to see what this is about. I do love myself a short story and some of these authors are favourites of mine, so thank you, Penguin. Now, a couple of books I bought the other day with my own money are The Buried Giant by Kazu Ishiguro. I got this from an independent bookshop in Edinburgh called Golden Hare because I'm trying to pick up film footage from all of the independent bookshops in Edinburgh to make a video about them for you guys. So I was in there with my friend getting film footage, and of course I couldn't leave without a book, so I decided to pick up this one because I've heard really good things about it. It's set in post-Roman ancient medieval Britain, which I've never read a book set in that time period, so I think this is going to be really, really interesting, and I've never read any of Kazu Ishiguro's work. I'm really excited to give this author a go. And then I also got another one, which I could blame on Jen and Lena, but I bought after that haul, so it's in this one, and that's The Grace Keepers by Kirsty Logan. This is a sort of fantastical dystopian, I believe, which is set in a world where the planet is almost entirely water and people travel around on boats, and follows this young girl who is part of a travelling boat circus with her bear, and also a young solitary man who I imagine they meet and things happen. I don't know, I'm gonna find out. I haven't, but I just hear amazing things about this book and it's absolutely stunning. In fact, the cover illustration is by Felicita Sala and the design is by Susan Dean, because like, this is a gorgeous book. We need to appreciate that. Those people need mentioned. But another book I was very kindly sent by Penguin, in this case on request, is the new Shirley Jackson book, Let Me Tell You, which is a collection of short stories and essays written by Shirley Jackson that have never before been published. So this is really exciting if you're a Shirley Jackson fan, which I am, and I'm really excited in particular for her essays because I've read some of her short stories and some of her novels, but never any of her non-fiction, so that should be good. Shirley Jackson was a 1950s kind of horror mystery writer and her stuff is amazing. I cannot recommend her more highly. The next book I picked up second-hand in a charity shop for £1.99, which I was really pleased about, and that is Dreams and Shadows, A Dark Place to Be by C. Robert Cargill. I actually saw this loads sort of displayed in bookshops around the time it came out or was released in paperback. I don't know if I had a hardback edition, and kept meaning to pick up but never did, so I'm really glad I didn't, because then I found it for £1.99, which is awesome. And this is a fantasy novel. I believe it's a sort of new fairy tale, which just sounds excellent. The next book is another book I requested from the publisher, so I did get for free but really, really wanted, and it is The Just City by Jo Walton. I'm so excited for this. I read and reviewed one of Jo Walton's books earlier this year. Actually, not that long ago. It was Tooth and Claw, which was a dragon story, and I absolutely adored it. Loved Jo Walton's writing style, and there's some others of her books that I really want to check out, like Among Others, which I believe is about fairies. Now this one's set in a made-up world that Jo Walton based on Plato's Republic, or was inspired by Plato's Republic, which is a piece of ancient Greek philosophy. And I'm like, this is a combination of Jo Walton, who I love, and ancient Greek stuff, which I love, we all know that. And I'm really excited to see what she does in this book, so that should be good. I was also sent this book from Titan Publishing, and it is Mycroft Holmes by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Anna Waterhouse. Now, Titan publish a lot of retellings and new additions to the Sherlock Holmes series, which I have a few and really enjoyed them. They're written by a variety of different authors, and you know how much I love Sherlock Holmes, so I always enjoy a good new mystery, although I definitely tend to pull them apart a little bit in my head, but I always enjoy them. And this is actually a new mystery novel where the main character is actually Mycroft Holmes, who is Sherlock Holmes' brother, so that's a really exciting concept. And this one isn't out till the 25th of September, but yeah, if you're a Sherlock Holmes fan, you can look forward to this. Two books I actually bought, so I'll talk about those first, and one is The Vegetarian by Han Kang. I got this when I was at the Edinburgh Book Festival looking at the bookshops with Nicola from Robotnik, and she was looking at the translated fiction section, and this just stood out to me because of the title and because of the cover. Something just pulled me in, and I picked it up, and basically it said it's about a young woman in South Korea who decides to be a vegetarian. This is fiction, by the way, it is a novel, and she ends up becoming the subject of a documentary a young man wants to make because he's fascinated with her. Never heard of it before, sounded fascinating, so decided to pick it up. Yeah. And then the next one is The First Bad Man, a novel by Miranda July. This isn't one I know too much about, except that it's meant to be quite dark and like amazingly written. But Nicola said she loved it, and I usually really like the books that she recommends to me. She has really good taste. And I also saw Esty over at Essay Button talk about it, and they both just made me really intrigued. And I was like, I saw it and I was like, I've heard good things about you. I'm gonna buy you. So I did. I was then given a book by Penguin Random House when I was at Summer in the City, because they had a little like booth stall, and they were nice enough to give me Half Bad by Sally Green, which is a young adult fantasy novel about a young boy who's half black witch, half white witch, in a world where people are divided between white witches and black witches are evil and white witches are good, and obviously this makes him kind of like the subject of interest and gets him hunted down. My friend Rachel over at Rachel Reviews All said she really enjoyed this, so when I saw that this was up for grabs, I was like, definitely have a copy of that because I trust her opinion. I next have a pile of books that were sent to me over from Hotkey. So the first is Black Cairn Point by Claire McFall. This is a young adult horror novel, and I've already read this one. It's set in Scotland, and it's about a group of teenagers who go camping and disturb a pagan burial site, and things go awry, and I filmed a video about this which should already be up, and it's been reviewed in that video, so I'll link that down below. But then Hotkey was also moving offices, so Sana asked me if I would like any of their backlog books because they needed to do a bit of a clear out, and I was like, definitely. There's a few that I have had my eye on, which included the Garth Nix books that Hotkey publish, and if you watch Sana over at Books and Quills, you will have heard of these because she loves them and they sound super good. They're high fantasy books. The first one is Clariel by Garth Nix. Now this is the prequel to the Sabriel series that Garth Nix wrote, which is a trilogy beginning with Sabriel, and I think I see a dragon. Anyway, and the next one is To Hold the Bridge, which is a collection of short stories set in the Old Kingdom world that the rest of the books are set in. So those should be good. I then have Foulsham by Edward Carey, which is the second in the Ironmonger series, the first being Heap House, which I already have, so I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind the sequel. And these are middle grade children's books about a family who live in a dumpster in the 1800s, I think it's 1800s. And they're lovely illustrated by the writer as well, so he draws loads of the characters in them, like that. And so. And last but not least from Hotkey, I have Maggot Moon by Sally Gardner. I believe this one's a middle grade children's dystopian novel about two friends that kind of discover something about the world they live in. Although I didn't know much about this one, I really enjoyed Sally Gardner's Tinder, which was actually an adult book she wrote, which was a retelling of Hans Christian Andersen's Tinder box. And I thought, yes, I would like to read more by Sally Gardner. I really liked her writing, so I'm going to find out about this one. The next book was given to me by a friend. My friend Linda, who's like family, doesn't really like to keep books after she reads them. She doesn't like the clutter. So she recently finished the Gormenghast trilogy by Peak, and this is a vintage classics edition. And because I'd expressed an interest in it while she was reading it, she gave me her copy, which was so kind of her. And this is like a classic dystopian series, and it's 3 books. Titus Groan, Gormenghast and Titus Alone, and Linda said they were all amazing, particularly the first 2. The first time these books were published in Britain was in 1946, so really classic dystopian. This is a chunker. I think I'm going to read them separately as 3 books. And then the last book is another book that just turned up in my post, didn't expect at all, and this one's from Hodder and Stoughton, and that is Skin by Ilka Tamke. And this is another one that's actually set in early British history. It's set in the 1st century AD in Britain, and it's about shapeshifters. And look at that cover. Is this not just stunning? And I do love myself a Dust Jacketless paperback. So gorgeous. It was also really cute when that appeared in my post. It also came with these little temporary tattoos, which are so adorable. I need to find an occasion to wear these. Those are all of the books that I got this month. I know it was a lot. Sometimes these things just happen. Hopefully they provided for some good hauls for you guys, and I am super excited to read all of these. I'm taking a few months off of studying, or at least out of university, before I start my PhD, so I do have a bit of free time, so hopefully I'm going to do a lot of reading in that free time and just kind of relax, enjoy myself for a little while and do lots of YouTube videos. But I'm going to do an update life video. But until next time guys, happy reading, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye!